Every year, every hardcore baseball fan makes their predictions. I've been doing it for about 10 years, and I've been right once. It's hard with baseball, especially in recent years. This year, let's reset and give this another try, the first time on this channel. We'll start with the NL West. This division was crazy last year. The Dodgers and the Giants seemingly never losing, and the Padres just crumbling at the end. This year, I got the Dodgers winning easily. I don't think they'll be as strong as last year. Even with Freeman, a full year of Trey Turner, I think their bullpen isn't as good. Their starters are down a bit, but the team is still stacked and they'll win 101 games. The Padres didn't do a lot over the offseason, but they didn't need to. They have a new manager in Bob Melvin, and he's one of the best. He should take that great roster and get the most out of them, so I have them winning 91 games. The Giants will take a big step back, but they won't fall off. No Posey, no Bryant, but they signed and re-signed a ton of pitching, and they'll still be good. Last year was out of nowhere. Guys were playing above their heads, so I don't see a repeat of last year, but I was impressed with their offseason moves. The Rockies won 74 last year, and now they have Chris Bryant, but they also lost John Gray. I only have them winning one more game this year. Finally, Arizona was just insanely bad last year, and they were big sellers. They just extended Ketel Marte, the one face of their franchise they can build around. Plus, they added Mark Melanson to save games. I think they'll be bad, but not as bad. 64 wins. The NL Central was a tough one. I don't think anyone's going to be super strong here, but if Milwaukee has the same level of pitching as last year, they should win. Hunter Renfroe will give them a little pop, replacing Avisail Garcia, and maybe Christian Yelich can rebound and be great again. 92 wins seems like a good guess. The Cardinals did very little this offseason. They got Steven Matz, but didn't really improve otherwise. This is still a good roster, but they might be light on starting pitching. I only have them with 85 wins. The rest of this division is rebuilding, but the Cubs should be the best of the worst. They won 71 last year. Maybe they can up that to 73 this year. The Pirates should be a little better as their young players improve, from 61 wins to 69. And the Reds nearly made the playoffs last year, but they've been big-time sellers this offseason. I think those 83 wins turns into 62. The NL East is very interesting, and I have to give first place to the Mets. They spent a lot of money and worked hard to fill their gaps. I think it'll pay off. Scherzer, Bassett, Marte, Canna, Escobar, Nimmo, Alonso, Lindor, Diaz in the bullpen. I think the Mets win 94. Also, much improved are the Phillies. They were so close last year. They got Schwarber and Castellanos. They improved their bullpen. I think they win 7 more games this year and land on 89. The world champion Braves lost Freeman, but added Olsen. Acuna will be coming back. They got Kenley Jansen. Maybe they will be great this year. Maybe they'll have a World Series hangover. I have them winning 3 less games, landing on 85. And with better competition in the East this year, they'll end up in 3rd. The Marlins had an awful season, but the roster isn't bad. They also got some big power with Garcia and Soler. I think they turned 67 wins into 76 wins. As for Washington, they should be pretty sad this year. They got Soto, Strasburg, and Cruz. They're probably a couple years away from their 2021 trade pieces making a big splash. I have them right around the same as last year, 66 wins. I have the Dodgers, Brewers, and Mets winning their division, and the 3 wildcards being the Padres, Phillies, and Giants. On to the AL West. I think there's going to be a shakeup this year. Seattle won 90 games last year, but they got kind of lucky. They've improved a lot, getting Adam Frazier, Eugenio Suarez, Jesse Winker, and most of all, Robbie Ray. I think these additions push them over the edge and into first place, their first playoff appearance since 2001. I know the Astros lost Correa and Greinke and Graveman, and they didn't go out and make a lot of moves, but that roster is still rock solid. They're bringing back Verlander, and I think they're still good for 88 wins. The Angels should be in the hunt this season, assuming they stay healthy. Ohtani is a stud. Hopefully Trout and Rendon can stay on the field. They got Iglesias back. Maybe Syndergaard will come back from injury and be great again. They're gonna flip their 77 and 85 record around. The Rangers have made a lot of moves this offseason, really overhauling their offense, plus adding John Gray. They needed a lot of help. They got a lot of help, but they're still probably a year or 2 away. I have them 18 wins better than last year. Finally, Oakland is officially in a rebuild. They've been a strong contender the last few years. They won 86 games last year, but I have them shooting all the way down to 60. They've lost too much. The AL Central is pretty cut and dry. The White Sox were the best team last year, and they've only gotten better, especially in their bullpen. Not only do they win the Central once again, they're going to be the top team in the AL. The Tigers are kind of a wild card. They're definitely improving, but are they going to arrive this year, or is it too soon? I'm taking a flyer on them. They won 77 last year. I think they're good for 87 this year. The Twins are also an interesting team. They had a big fire sale last year, but they played above 500 after getting rid of all their good players. They made some moves to improve right now. Sonny Gray, Chris Archer, Gio Urshela, Gary Sanchez, and I think they go from 73 wins to 82, having another winning season. The Royals also seem to be on the right track. We'll see when Bobby Witt Jr. makes it up. It could be opening day. They got Zach Greinke back. They'll improve a little bit over last year, from 74 to 77. In last place, I have the Guardians. If they trade Jose Ramirez, this will be a really sad offense. They did basically nothing over the offseason. They have a few stars, but not enough to compete. I have them dropping from 80 wins to 73. The AL East is the most competitive division I've seen in a long time. 4 teams won 91 games last year. By comparison, nobody in the NL East even won 90. The Blue Jays lost Robbie Ray and Marcus Semien, but I think they've done enough to replace them. Kevin Gausman, Matt Chapman. This is a very good and well-rounded team, and I think they're going to make the jump to first place. I have them with 93 wins. The Rays will take a step back. I think they were way too passive in the offseason. They didn't get better. They'll fall back from 100 to 89 wins. The Yankees are another team that could have done more over the offseason. They got Rizzo back. They traded for Donaldson. They didn't do much about their pitching. I think 87 wins is a generous mark for the Yankees. Boston did come close to the World Series last year, but they didn't do enough to address their biggest problem, starting pitching. I think that catches up to them this year. Even with that strong offense, I think they only win 84 games. In last place, we have the Orioles. They won 52 games last year, and they were the last team left on my board, and I only had 52 wins left to give out. So I figured, why not? Give the Orioles 52 once again. They didn't do much to get better, but their young players will keep improving. They'll probably be better than 52, but let's give them 52 anyway. I have the Mariners, White Sox, and Blue Jays winning their division, with the Rays, Astros, and Tigers as wildcards. In the wildcard round, I have the Brewers over the Giants, the Phillies over the Padres, the Astros over the Rays, and the Mariners over the Tigers. In the NLDS, I have the Dodgers over the Phillies and the Mets over the Brewers. On the AL side, I have the White Sox getting their revenge on the Astros, and Seattle moving on over the Blue Jays. In the NLCS, I have the Mets beating the Dodgers. If their pitching is healthy, that's going to be really dangerous in the playoffs. For the ALCS, I have the White Sox over the Mariners. This sets up a showdown between the Mets and the White Sox in the World Series. Both teams are stacked, but I'm going to tap the Mets as the 2022 World Series champions. I hate to sound like Draft Nick Mark here, but I think this could really be their year. Now, my Cy Young winners. In the AL, I have Shane Bieber. He was hurt last year, but he was dominant in 2020. He's coming back at full strength this year. For the NL, this is so wide open. There are so many great pitchers, so let's take someone kinda off the board, Max Fried. He's 28, right in his prime. He had a great year last year. Maybe he'll step it up to the next level. For AL MVP, I obviously considered Ohtani. I also thought about Mitch Haniger as kind of a dark horse, but I'm gonna pick George Springer. This guy is a superstar, but his first year with the Blue Jays was riddled with injuries. He's coming into this season healthy, and in that hitter's park, he could have a monster year for the first place Jays. In the NL, Freddie Freeman is going to have a lot of protection and could have a huge year, but I'm going with another guy on a new team with a lot around him, Nick Castellanos. He's going to hit right around Harper and Schwarber. He's such a talented hitter. He could have an MVP season. For AL Rookie of the Year, let's go with Bobby Witt Jr. I know Spencer Torkelson may get a lot of action this year, but Witt could have a full season of work to build that resume. For the NL, I'm going with Joey Bart. He had a rough time in 2020, but he should come around and be a solid player. That's all for my 2022 predictions. Let me know what you think about these picks, if you think I'm spot on or way off, and why. When it comes to predicting divisions and World Series winners, my track record is pretty bad. Please don't take any of this to the bank. Before you go, don't forget to drop a like, and if you want to see more baseball content, please consider giving me a sub. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.